Season 2 of Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series, kicks off right here on January 23rd, 2021. We're going to take a deep dive retrospective look at WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. Don't miss it. ProWrestlingTees.com/616Entertainment is the home of all official 616 Entertainment merchandise. Pick up a shirt, you'll be glad you did. This video is also brought to you in part by the Patreon producers, without whom content like this would not be possible. 2020 was a garbage year for the most part, right? It's hard to imagine how it could have been much worse. But hey, I'm talking about the year from a political standpoint, from a social standpoint, from the way things turned out standpoint, you know? But in the video game realm, good God, man. 2020 was a fantastic year for games. And as I have in years past, I'm here today to count down my top 10 games of these past 12 months, concluding with my pick for Game of the Year. What's up, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian, and welcome to the 616 Entertainment channel. Now, with all that stuff I've said in mind, let me give you the warning that I give every time I make a list video. What you're about to see is my list for top 10 games of the year. It's not IGN's list, it's not your list, it's not another YouTuber's list, it's my list. I want you to leave your list in the comments, because chances are your list is much different than mine. We can compare and contrast and make a conversation out of it. What you don't want to do is tell me what should have been on my list, or tell somebody else in the comments what should have been on their list. They know what they wanted on their list, that's why they put it there. This is how this works. You get it? Good. Let's get to it. Darksiders Genesis is my pick in the number 10 slot. Hear me out. I don't really care for the core Darksiders games. I find them dull and not really interesting enough to keep my attention. But Genesis, the spin-off title, was the exact opposite. Throw out the Devil May Cry style third-person action of Darksiders 1 through 3 and replace it with an isometric Diablo style action RPG that I could not put down. I love switching between our two playable characters. I enjoyed leveling them up and gaining new skills. The 30 hours I spent beating the story mode felt like 10 hours, man. The time just flew by. I didn't like the story overall, to be honest. I even found myself skipping all of the dialogue I could less than halfway through, but hey, the gameplay was great, and that's what's really important. Coming in at number 9 is a game I earned the Platinum Trophy in 3 times in 2020, believe it or not. Twinbreaker, a Sacred Symbols adventure, was written by Colin Moriarty and developed by Lilymo Games founder Barry Johnson, and I had a hell of a lot of fun with this one. I'm generally not very good at brick breakers, and seeing as though this one puts the player in control of 4 paddles at the same time later in the game, I had to step it up and really focus. Factor in several extra game modes and a super attainable platinum trophy, as well as a very interesting story between levels, and you've got a ton of bang for your buck here. An easy recommendation to anyone watching this video. If you guys know anything about me, you know that I adore Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. It's one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. So when a remaster was announced for the PS4, a remaster I never thought we'd get, you can only imagine my excitement. With all that said, why is it that this one isn't higher on my list? Well, it launched in horrible shape. It was super broken and straight up unplayable towards the end of the story. That has mostly been rectified. The developers worked really hard to improve the game post-launch, and at this point I can safely recommend it to you, but still, you can't release a broken piece of shit and be crowned Game of the Year. It doesn't work like that. I am glad they fixed it as well as they did, though. That makes me happy. Because if they didn't, and they remaster one of my favorite games ever only for it to be completely bungled in the long run, that would have been a heartbreaker. Oh my goodness gracious, am I pleased that I can finally say that a new Tony Hawk game was great again. My number 7 of the year is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered. To put it simply, they nailed it. They totally nailed it. After the series lost steam year after year and then officially turned to shit with Tony Hawk 5, it wouldn't have been shocking for this franchise to finally flatline. But nope! All they had to do to make Tony Hawk fun again was turn back the clock. I beat both games in like 4 sittings. They're both still addictive. They're both still extremely fun, man. I want to play this one right now. Immortals Phoenix Rising falls in at number 6 for me, Dan Dans. This is a game that I wasn't excited for. I had no idea what it was until I saw my buddy David Jaffe streaming it over on his channel, and I thought, wait a minute, this looks like my type of shit. And spoilers, it is indeed my type of shit. A beautiful world, simple to understand but surprisingly deep combat, a silly and entertaining story, I'm in. I haven't beaten this one just yet, which is great. That means I can dive back in whenever I want, which is something I'm looking forward to doing. If you were on the fence about this one, I get it. But take it from me, you should check it out. We're cracking the top 5 now, and we're talking about Ghosts of Tsushima. Unlike Phoenix Rising, Ghosts of Tsushima was 100% a game I was looking forward to. I was hyped. Hype can sometimes be a killer. You can make yourself believe a game will be better than it possibly can be, which leads to disappointment. Did that happen with Ghost? Nope. This game is sick. I love the world. Having no HUD and instead forcing the player to pay attention to nature to find their way is major innovation in a genre that can sometimes feel very stuck in its ways. Very few games have kept me consistently excited to fight groups of bandits, man. Every single time I see a crew of enemies, I take it personally. I walk up and go ahead, try me. Try and touch me. I slice through their shit like I'm Anderson Silva with a katana. And that, Dan Dans, is a good feeling. Number 4, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Listen, 2018 Spider-Man was fantastic. And this game being a much shorter, in-between type of story, it kind of sounds like it might be less than the original. But it's not. I love that this game is shorter than Spider-Man 2018. There is zero fat on these bones. Everything you do here matters. Miles is a great character. His journey of becoming a full-on superhero while Peter Parker is away is harrowing. And, not for nothing, it's awesome that this game takes place in New York and is predominantly filled with people of color. It's not only refreshing as far as presentation goes, but it just feels good to play. I'm Italian, you know, I'm white. There are a million games out there full of people that look like me. And these aren't my shoes to walk in, but I'd imagine this game probably made a shitload of people feel seen and represented in a major way. And that's never a bad thing. Plus, the gameplay is still top tier, and the story is great as well. An easy choice for the number 4 slot. Before 2020, I had never played an Animal Crossing game in my life. My girlfriend has been obsessed with the series for over a decade, and her infectious hype over the newest entry, Animal Crossing New Horizon, had me wanting to dive in as well. And holy shit, I'm glad I did. Animal Crossing is so chill, so positive, I don't know if there's another game out there that stands up to it in terms of how innocently endearing it is. I loved my neighbors. I loved catching bugs and fish. I loved digging up fossils and filling up my museum. There's no end to this one, you know? There's always a new way to lay out your island, a new villager you can meet. Number 3 for the year, Animal Crossing New Horizon. No doubt. The runner-up for my game of the year in 2020 is Godfall. I know. You heard this game wasn't all that great. You heard it's boring, you heard this, and you heard that. You heard that. But did you play it? Because I did. I played the shit out of Godfall, man. The combat is so smooth. The valor plates, the weapons, the loot, the enemies, the level design. Goddamn. Godfall, for me, is everything I wanted it to be. And don't get me wrong, the story sucks. It might as well not even be there. But the moment-to-moment gameplay, the progression of my character's gear, shit. I know this is one of those games I'm going to be coming back to over the years. Highly recommended. And that leads us to the end, Dan Dans. My game of the year for 2020 is The Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog are simply on another level. They're on another level with their storytelling. They're on another level with their animations, with their character development. They're a cut above the rest, and then some. My relationship with Ellie and Joel blossomed in 2013 when the first game came out on the PlayStation 3. And I cannot put into words how this game twisted and turned my heart across the near 30-hour campaign. Seriously, there were several moments where I needed to take a break because I couldn't handle it. When Ellie is playing the song Joel taught her on the guitar, man, inconsolable. I've never screamed at my TV over the things the characters on screen were doing the way I did with The Last of Us Part 2. The emotional engagement between myself and this cast, Dan. I can't do it justice with my words in this short write-up. I realize there are people out there who didn't like this game or the story or whatever, and hey, you're entitled to that opinion just like I am to mine. But honestly, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about this one, nor will I argue about it. I am connected to this story, to these characters. That's what's important to me. And if you're on the same page, you know exactly what I mean. The Last of Us Part 2, my 2020 Game of the Year. What a year it was for video games, right, Dans? From top to bottom, I can see myself revisiting each and every one of these titles, and that's something I'm really looking forward to doing. Almost as much as I'm looking forward to seeing your top 10 list for 2020 in the comments below. I want to see how my list compared to yours. Maybe they're very similar, maybe they're not similar at all. It's going to be fun to talk this out. Thank you very much for watching. I love you, and I will see you next time. Miles is a great character. His journey in becoming a full-on superhero while Peter... His journey of becoming a full-on superhero while Peter What the fuck? Why can't I say that?